your close friends kind of has to give up the game of football. Nolan's my roommate right now. He's one of my good friends, and he's been here just as long as I have. And it's just sad to see someone, they got to hang up the cleats, but it's in his best interest. He knows that's really the right thing to do.
I'd say about 8th grade, I got my first, what was diagnosed as post-traumatic migraine. You know, from helmet to helmet hit, you know, it was just really bad, you know, concussion-like symptoms, but they didn't diagnose as concussions. I get them quite a bit, you know, 3 or 4 probably during game in the season, all the way up until, you know, probably last year, they started diagnosing the same type of hits as concussions. Since I've been here, you know, I've had probably 3 or 4 diagnosed concussions. At the UCLA game, you know, I was on kickoff. It was the second kickoff of the game. Just went down, you know, helmet-to-helmet hit, you know, happens a lot on kickoff, you know, just real reckless type of play. And these actually, you know, kickoffs is where they actually happen a lot. My migraines and, you know, the concussions that they've diagnosed recently. In situations like Nolan, for example, he came to us on the sideline. We were able to recognize that he was having some symptoms. One of the things that complicates issues is when you have a history of migraines. I knew right away, you know, I was like, gosh, you know, I'm probably gonna get, you know, what I thought would maybe be a migraine, but this time it was a little more severe. You know, I got the blurred vision, the you know, seeing spots and stars, and, you know, severe headache, nauseous, and I also got other symptoms that I, you know, haven't had before. You know, numbness in my lips, tips of my fingers. So that was a big red flag.
Sometimes you can have concussions with migraines, and you can just have migraines on your own that are from trauma. From that standpoint, it makes it hard, but he ends up going through a lot and has to have a long recovery period for the migraine itself, because it's usually induced with trauma. The concern when you start to get more concussions is, you know, what's the magic number? And there really isn't a magic number. I think the concern that we have as a medical staff is when we start to see the numbers starting to increase, the exposure or the incident happening with less and less of an impact, or the symptoms lasting longer with each episode. So that's when it becomes a real concern. What we do know is that the more exposure you get to head trauma, concussions, the harder that becomes for the medical staff to be able to predict that they're going to have a healthy life the rest of their life.
So the next step, you know, they were great. They said, all right, we can tell that it's bothering you and how you're playing, and just thought it was in my best interest, you know, to no longer play, so.
When I heard that Nolan had to stop playing, I felt bad for him. You know, I know it's a tough thing, having had to go through it myself. I just received several concussions. After my last one against Kansas State last season, the trainers kind of set me down and gave me all my options and told me that, you know, since I've had so many, it could start affecting me later on in the future. You can't play the game of football worried about getting hurt, and that thought started entering my mind, so I knew it was time for me to stop.
Trey's been great. I've asked him, you know, so many questions, you know, how did you handle it? You know, what did you do? You know, what was the best thing for you to get through the whole deal? And, you know, he's been there to answer every single one of my questions, and, you know, he's been so supportive, and it's just great to have a guy that's been through it, and, you know, he's there to talk to. So he's been great.
We all told him that that's the right thing to do, you know. Right now it kind of shows that this is just a game of football. It's not that serious to cause further injury. I know Nolan's going to do great to whatever he does.
We have a medical team in place to try to help him transition from an awful loss in his life, which is football. That's all he's done his whole life, to his next phase of life.
You know, I knew football wasn't going to last forever. You know, I knew it was going to come to an end at some point. Just embrace the next part of my life. You just go out there and, you know, cheer for the guys as much as possible and support them. It's going to be tough, but I'll adjust.
Thank you. Put your hands up. Watch out. Get out of there, Chip. Get out of there, man. There you go. Get out of there, Chip. Come on, that hand.
Compete. You learn to compete out here and you compete the rest of your life. That's what you do. At 60 years old, I still go back to this because it's what you have to have. The other thing is, we win, and you think about this, we win Saturday night when you're better than the guy across from you. If you're better than your counterpart, we win. If you're not, then we probably don't win. So that's all we're asking you to do is watch the video and whip the guy that's assigned to you all night. That's it. So if you walk out of there with your head up that you won your battle, that means we won all the battles. That means we come home 4-0. I always like winning away more than winning at home because you can make 57,000 people mad. And that's pretty cool. That you can walk in there and shut up 50,000 people and ruin their weekend. That's pretty cool.
Downfield for Shipley. He caught it. Jackson Shipley was pushed, grabbed, nudged, held, and he held on to the football for a Texas touchdown.
I knew as soon as he stepped on campus for 7-on-7s, he was going to be a great player. Thankfully, he's kept that up. He's extremely quick, extremely agile.
Jackson has been consistent. The way he practices and the way he prepares has been impressive. He's great to be around. He provides an energy, not just for that particular group, but he provides an energy, I think, for our entire offense out there with just his practice habits, and it's been fun to watch him compete and play.
Push, now back, attack. Nice job, way to work.
He's mature beyond his years. We say age is about the mind. It's not about the number of years you've been alive. And he's a guy that plays much better and much older than he is.
He's only a freshman, but he plays like he's a junior or senior. He plays like a seasoned vet. He's a guy that has great quickness. He hardly ever drops the ball, and he's able to make plays once he gets the ball in his hand. He's pretty fast. Once he gets his top speed, he can outrun a lot of guys.
Jackson provides a lot of variety, carrying the football, catching the football, played a little bit in the backfield as well. He's just a guy, I think, that's got a knack for the game. From the beginning, he came in and understood what we're trying to get done practice-wise, tempo-wise, and really caught on to the scheme of things.
Walk off by Shipley. This kid just goes and gets the football.
With my versatility so far, I think that just has to do with Coach Harson's game plan, and he's been able to use my strengths and put me in those different personnels and those different packages, and it's been a lot of fun so far.
His versatility, it seems, is unlimited, but you know, he's one that we use in this offense in numerous positions. He's a guy that can just go out there, line up anywhere, and just play no matter what the coaches tell him to do.
I want you 5 yards in front of that returner, right here, okay? Because what you see is you're going to see the double team. You're going to play off of it to a free hitter. Got it?
It's really hard to explain something like Jackson Shipley. He can do it all. I mean, he's very fast. His hands, he can catch anything. He can do a lot of things for us, and that just adds to what we're able to do.
Well, downfield for Shipley. He caught it. Shipley with a great catch going up to his right, bringing it down in traffic.
If we had to play him, you know, it'd be very hard to stop because he gets in around sweeps a lot. He gets some jet sweeps. He's a guy that can hurt you with his arm.
Jackson throwing to the end zone. Caught. Touchdown, Texas. How about Jackson Shipley? Now he adds a touchdown pass to his resume.
I definitely was not expecting to throw the ball, and that's one of those things that I've had to do so far, and I've been having a lot of fun with that.
Jackson was raised by a coach in a coaching home, so he's been about football his whole life. He also has a brother, an older brother, that taught him everything that he knows, and that older brother was an All-American at Texas who now plays for the Cincinnati Bengals. So he's had football every day of his life since he was very young.
Black 30 more minutes.